Okay, hello, welcome to the first lab in a Cisco Ethical Hackers lab series. Okay, so the very first lab is deploy a pre-built Kali Linux machine. So before now, I've explained what a Kali Linux machine is and what virtualization is. So we're just going to go through the labs, right? For the first one, we have an objective. For the part one, you want to know, okay, how will I deploy Kali Linux on a VM? Kali Linux VM on AMD on Intel chip-based processor, right? Most of the times, if you're running Windows, I'm going to show you how to go about that. Now, if you are going to run this on ARM, that's M1 or M2, or maybe even the latest version of macOS computer, how are you going to do that? And of course, we're going to examine for Linux. So background scenario. Now, virtualization gives us quite a lot of opportunities to be able to do more in computing. And because of virtualization, we can actually do quite a lot within a given time. Now, and also because we have larger processor power, large amount of RAMs, we can actually run multiple operating systems. Now, with virtualization, what more virtual computers can operate within a single computer? I explained that in the intro section. Now, if you want to run through this lab, you want to have Oracle VirtualBox installed. I'm going to show you how. Then for the resources you need for this lab, you need a computer with at least minimum of 4 gig RAM. But if you want to be comfortable running these labs, you should be in the range of between 12 and 16. I'm running it with a 20 gig RAM. So you want to be able to assign quite a lot of space to the machine so that the machine is a little bit fast. Your processor should be also anything from Core i3 up to like Core i7 above. Now you should have up to 50 gig RAMs free space. Then you need internet access to be able to download any virtualization software. For a case in point here, we're going to be using Oracle VirtualBox. Now, the very first part of the lab is you need to go to virtualbox.org. So this is the site, right? You download whichever operating system that you need. If you download it, you install it, and you're going to have something like this. Once you have something like this, the next thing you're going to import the virtual machine. The idea is that if you're running your system the way this system is currently, what it means is that, for instance, for myself, I'm running the Windows machine, right? A Windows 11 machine. Now, what about if I want to run more operating system within this system? One thing I can do is to virtualize. So I can have a software that will help me to virtualize, like Oracle VirtualBox, and now add all the other operating systems on top of it. So for instance, once you install Oracle VirtualBox or Oracle VM, you have something like this. Then you can now import new machines into it. For instance, I have CyberOps Workstation, I have Lab VM Workstation, I have Ethical Hacker Calix, which is the one we're going to be using. So now this is the site. So you go to virtualbox.org/wiki/download. You can be able to download any of the one depending on your operating system. So that's this first part. Make sure you download, install, and also accept any default settings. The next thing you want to do is to go to the pre-built machine. Why is it pre-built? Now, if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate level cybersecurity analyst, or you want to be one, you need an environment that is already predefined to test out all of those things and test your skills. So you don't want heavy moving parts. You want something that is already pre-made, like a ready-made kind of. So that's why you have that machine that have quite a lot of all of the software, all of the scripts, everything you need to like practice. So how do you get that for this particular lab? You go to NetAcad, go to /resources/lab-downloads, and you can see most of the machines you're going to be needing for this course. So you just navigate to Ethical Hacker Kali Linux virtual machine for the Ethical Hacker course. Now you have two of it. One is for Intel and one is for Mac operating system, like MacBooks, right? So depending on which you're using, you're going to be downloading this. So once you have it, you come to this environment and you can import and it's going to complete. So let's assume I've downloaded this. It's roughly around 8 gig in size, right? If you download this, all you need to do is after you've installed the Oracle VirtualBox, you say new. You can say new. This is one way to do it, or you can just say you want to add. If you say you want to add, all you just need to do is to let me a little bit just a second. Just a second. One moment. Okay, let me just navigate to where I have this machine already. So one way to do it is to say, okay, you want to add, right? If you know the actual part, or you could say, I just like, especially if it's a pre-made machine, I just like to say, I want to import that particular appliance. So you just say import, you tap on this, right? And you can navigate. Let me see if I can see recent. You can just navigate to where you have the Cisco, right? Ethical hacker. You can just navigate to where you have the machine. So this is the OVA file. So you see it's roughly around 8.5 gig. Once you double click on it and you click next, it's going to give you like the details of the operating system. So you see all of the defaults, right? So this is Kali hacker Kali 1, of course, because there's one already installed. So just give it this name. It's 4 gig. This is the sound, whatever. You click on finish. When you click on finish, it's going to start kind of processing. So you're going to see something like this, importing appliance. So once you see importing appliance, it's going to go all through till it completes. Once it's completed, it's going to be listed as part of the virtual machines. Then you can now start it. So I'm going to cancel this because I don't need it. Or I'm just going to allow it to, okay, I've canceled it already. I wanted to just allow it to run. So once it's finished completing the process, you can now actually have it as listed here. So whenever you have that, one thing you want to do is to check the configuration of your machine. Normally, this machine is a 4 gig machine. Because I have up to 20 gig RAM, I could come here and adapt or switch or increase the RAM size. You can also make a tweak to the processor, depending if you know how much processor size you have, how many cores you have within your system. You can actually rename them and do all of that. Once you're done with that, the next thing you want to do is to start up your virtual machine. So once you start up the virtual machine, you have a brand new operating system residing within your machine. So let's go back to the lab. So we've done this. We've downloaded the VirtualBox. We've downloaded the pre-built Kali Linux machine. The next thing is for us to import, which I've done. You open your VirtualBox like I have here, right? You go to File, Import Appliance, of course, which I did, File, Import Appliance. Then the next thing you want to do is to locate the machine that you've downloaded. This is the machine that you have downloaded, right? Once you've downloaded it, locate it, and you can just click next, 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 and you are done. So once you're done, you can now click on Start to power up the machine, which I have just done. I've clicked on the particular machine, right? And I've clicked on Start, right? Now I've clicked on Start. The next thing for me is I can try to see the machine, what it looks like. So this is what my machine looks like. So you see for this particular machine, you have the password, the login as Kali Kali, right? So once your machine starts, you have this kind of interface. So let's go back to the lab. I can just keep the lab on my left and try to see if I can keep this machine on my right. So something of this nature. So I will just tilt this to the left a little bit. So now we've done step 1, step 2, step 3. Now, if you have a Mac machine, you can actually do the same thing. You follow through the steps and you're going to be done. Now, part 3 is exploring Linux, right? Now, step one, you need to understand root privileges. So when we say root privileges, we try to mean that people are going to have, on an operating system, people are going to have more machine than the other, right? So the root user in Linux is equivalent to the administrator user in Windows, right? So, in Windows, we have administrators, then we have users and all of that. But in Linux, the root user is also called the administrator. So the su command or sudo allows you to gain root permission. So you're going to explore how that command is used in a Linux environment. So log into the Kali Linux system with the username Kali and the password Kali. So look at it here, Kali Kali. So I will just enter Kali, and I have also Kali, right? Once I've logged in, I'm going to see an interface. In the next lab, we're going to be looking at the entire interface of this software. We're going to be looking at the entire interface of this software so that you can get to familiarize yourself with it and get comfortable. So you have something that looks, let me zoom out. You have something that looks like a complete system, right? So you have uh, like an application, a button you can click to get your application. You have, okay, maybe I was working on something before now. So you have something you can click to get all of your application. If you see the Kali Linux environment, you have quite a ton of applications. We're going to be exploring them as we move on. You're going to see that you have tools regards that was my browser. You're going to see that you have tools as regards information gathering. So you see quite a lot of tools for here. Vulnerability analysis, you see quite a lot of tools. You see web application analysis, quite a lot of tools. Database assessment, some few tools, password attacks, quite a lot of tools. So we're going to be exploring all of these tools as the labs gives us opportunities for that. Now you see you have your browser, right? You can also do everything you could actually do within an operating system, because this is a whole brand new system. This system has two processors and it runs a 12 gig RAM, right? So you could do anything you need to do within this environment. So you have the terminal. So this is the terminal, like in Windows, we say the command prompt, right? So this is the terminal you could use to do quite a lot. So here we're just trying to review the operating system. We're trying to like go around and see what you have. You have time, you have clock, you have speaker, the speaker volume, your what's it called, notifications, your battery is fully charged, and all of that. So this is an operating system on its own, and this operating system is the cloned or the how would I put it now, like a version of a Kali Linux that is meant for students going through this course, because it comes shipped with all of the tools and application you need for this course. So I will put this on the right. Now, the next thing for us to do is that we've logged in. So right-click desktop, select applications, click on terminal emulator. So this is it actually. So this is your emulator. So you can tap on it and you can start running some of this command. So let's go through it. The first one here. So we have something like that. So what's the command? What do we need to do? So here we're being told to say VISUDO. So we just type VISUDO, right? So you see, some commands you want to run, you will not be able to do it because you're not the administrator. Just like in some Windows machine, anytime you want to install a software, if you're not the administrator, you won't be able to run that. Because let's say we don't want people to be able to do certain things on our system in the network, we can reserve those permissions for only administrators. In Linux, you can also have that in the sense that it's only an administrator that can run some certain commands. So you see, you got permission denied. Note that you do not have permission to view or edit the file. What can you do? You can just say sudo, right? So you see, it's going to now ask me, what's my password, right? It wants to confirm that I am actually the administrator. Note that you're not going to see anything. You're not going to see anything, right? But it will take note of what you've entered, right? So this is the file. You want to look at this file, you want to edit the file. Now scroll to the end of the file. You're going to see, so just use your what's it called, your keyboard and go through to the end, you're going to see that this allows, the sudo command allows members of group sudo to execute any command, right? Any command. So that's what sudo. If you try a command and it doesn't work, you can attempt sudo before that command, and it's going to prompt you for a password. You already know the password for the machine. You can enter it and you'll be able to do whatever you need to do. Okay, so another thing is to verify that the user, another thing is to now, so you can Control X to like try to escape. You can say, okay, no, I don't want to save that particular file. So you can do a Control X. You can leave that environment and you say yes or no if you intend to save it. So another command you can see is you want to try to grep. So grep is a command that can help you to like pull out commands, pull out or print lines from a document that matches a given pattern. So let me explain. Let's say you have a document that has so many words, but you want to check that document and try to see if there is a particular word or something matches a particular word. You could use the grep command. So the grep command only prints out the lines that matches the given pattern. In this example, the command searches for the word sudo in the file etc group and prints out that particular line. So let's run that command. So we say grep sudo, we say etc, so then group, right? So it's going to tell us that you have on line 27, you have that particular word, Kali, right? So the result confirms that the user Kali is in the group sudo, right? So this particular user, you have it in that particular group. Now let's look at some keyboard shortcuts. So you have some questions here. You can use the up and down arrow to locate and execute the previously entered command. So let's come in and just do up and down. So you could see I'm using my up arrow. You could see some of the previous commands that I've run, right? So you can use the up and run arrow, right? So if I go back, right? If I go back, that is up arrow and I hit enter, it's just going to execute the previous command. So I Control X. Now, another thing you want to know is that if you want to locate sudo visual command, how many times would you need to press? So I just go back depending where it is. So you see this one is just once. If I need to go back to the previous commands around, so you just go up, 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 right? So that's a way to like ease your work. Now, what about if you want to just see the history of all of the commands you've run after some time? So you could just say history. It's going to give you all of the commands. So these are some of the commands I've been running for quite some while. So you're just going to tell you all of those commands to be running. So see, I ran up to like 211 commands. Now, so another thing is, what about let's see this particular question. You can use a combination of exclamation mark and history number or command string to repeat previously used commands. At the prompt, enter like exclamation 3. So what command is displayed? So what you can do something like this. Just a second. Let me get this up and get this up also. So you could do something like grep sudo, right? etc. So let me see, just a second. So for this particular question, you can use a combination of the exclamation point, exclamation mark, and history number or command strings to repeat previously used command. Now, for this lab, what you can do here is that, let's say, assume you know the third command that you run. So, for instance, my third command should be help, right? My third command is help. So if I go here and just say 3, right, and hit enter, so it's going to bring out the third command, which is help. If I say exclamation mark 211, so this is it. exclamation mark 211 is going to give me history, right? So this is the history of my command. So for you, for instance, this is going to give you something different, right? If you've been working on this machine before now, you might have something different. If this is the machine you're working on, you're actually going to get, if you see the answer, you're going to get grep sudo etc, because that was the third command that you ran. Right, so let's move to the next one. So you see, at the prompt, enter this, what command is displayed. So let us say this, sorry. Okay, so for this particular one, we see history. Mine is not giving history. I'm supposed to have, let me see, exclamation HRS, what command is displaying. So it's actually trying to say, ordinarily, I should have history because you're just trying to say, can I know, okay, let me say grep, right? It's able to show me the commands I've written that have grep. And if I say this is also supposed to give me, let me get up to T. Okay, so it gave me, I think just gave me history, gave me everything, right? So this is if you know the particular command and you want to just go right into it. Now, let's look at another one. So the tab key help you to complete partial commands or file or folder name. At the prompt, enter hi and press a tab key. So if I just say, okay, hi, right, and I tab, right, it's going to give me all of the different commands that I can use for that particular keyword. So just a little bit about the overview of your Linux environment. So what you want to do is to implement your machine and try some of these basic commands in this very first lab. In the next lab, we're going to go deeper and examine more labs. So let's look at some reflection. So what are the benefits of using either installer image or a pre-built image to create a Kali Linux machine? So one of the reasons is that you want to have a lot of control. Now, everything in this machine is like pre-built for us. So it's more or less like a controlled environment for us to learn. So I think that's all for this particular lab. See you in the next lab.